friend. Thanks for joining me. This is episode 112 of the Positioning to Profit podcast. Super happy you're here. Thank you for checking out this episode. Today is a solo show. I'm going to be sharing how to know when it's time to quit or if it's okay to continue. And it is near and dear to my heart because this topic has come up a couple of times, especially as the entrepreneur journey really goes through the ups and downs and whatnot. And this topic, while it's not necessarily a marketing strategy per se, but it is important to position yourself to profit. So the deal is, how do you know if it's okay to quit? And if it's just being a quitter or if it's pushing through to make sure you keep going. So we're going to be chatting about that one. Okay, and then separate to that, I don't know if you have already joined the Prolific Women Entrepreneurs Facebook group, but you're invited. And if you go to Prolific We, and the we is actually not we, it's just the W, the E for women entrepreneurs, prolificwe.com. It'll take you right to the page so that you can join, and I'm going to be sharing more goodness in there, so definitely partake and join me over there. So all right, that's what I have. Those were the announcements, and stick around because we're going to be talking about, is it okay to quit or should I keep going? I don't know. Is this the right time? So that's the show. Here we go. Hey there, I'm Patty Dominguez. You're about to discover what it means to position your brand and your business to stand out. This show explores the stories of small business owners just like you who are bringing their message out to the world and impacting their tribe. So if you want to take your business to a category of one status, then hang with me because this podcast shares everything you need to know about how to be more prolific with your brand so that you can have more profits. Hello. I don't know what happened to my recorder here. So hopefully this is recording. If not, it's going to be a really short show. You're only going to get the intro. Okay. So today I'm talking about how to know when it's okay to quit or if you should keep going. And it brings me to a really great book by Seth Godin called The Dip. And the one thing that's really, really important to realize is that there is always going to be a dip in what you're doing. So here's the deal. When we start out in entrepreneurship, it is so exciting and we feel like jacked up sideways excited about the potential. Like, this is it. I'm going to make $1 million here. Like, this is incredible. I'm very inspired. And so inevitably what happens is we start out with strong intentions, and that could be whether you are discussing and growing your business. It could be your network marketing business. It could be the fact that you want to lose weight, whatever it is, any kind of goal like that. We get very inspired at the beginning, and it is exciting, right? It's something new, and this is a whole other topic about people some people are addicted to new, and that leads to things like courseritis, right? Where people are buying the next course because they think that is the answer. That's the thing that's going to change everything. They're addicted to the dopamine hit of the newness of the thing. So that's one way where you kind of dip, because what happens is you're taking a step back in essence and not realizing that it's important to stay the course. Okay. So how do you know if you should quit? And so, as I mentioned, I go to the book by Seth Godin, The Dip, and where he talks about these facts about you have to really commit yourself to the outcome that you want to create. And I'm saying that in my own words. He doesn't say it exactly that way, but commit yourself to the outcome of what you want to achieve. And that is why it's so important. As you all know, if you've heard my show before, I am such a proponent. I'm such an advocate for coaching all successful people. And I probably shouldn't say all, but I would venture to guess that all have coaches in different areas of their life, whether it is personal growth, financial, spiritual, health, all the kind of coaches that you can imagine. And it's because that coach is going to help the person see the blind spots that they're not aware of, and they also help you to lay out the plan of attack of how you are going to take action in order to achieve the goals that you're looking for. So really committing yourself to that until is really, really critical. The other thing that's important that Godin talks about is really embracing the challenge of the dip and recognizing that the dips are inevitable. So as much as you can plan and as much as you think that, okay, I got this, here's the road, there's always going to be a fork in the road. There's always going to be a landmine potentially that you weren't aware of. And so it is absolutely crucial that you roll with it, that you don't get blindsided by it to the extent that it jolts you so much that you're like, this is it, I'm not going to do this, I can't do this isn't for me, I suck, right? You want to embrace the challenge of the dip and just say, yo, whatever, I am going to continue until. Is that all you got? Is that all you got? No, you're going to continue, right? You're going to continue. So this is what's really, really important. Like, don't get swayed by those types of challenges so much so that you want to give up, because I'm going to be honest with you. I've been there. I get it. It's just easier sometimes to say, okay, you know what? I don't think I have it in me to do this. I really don't. And I'm going to give you a really quick story of what happened to me. So in 2013, on a pure dare, my husband, who is so annoyingly athletic, he loves to run. He qualified for the Boston Marathon. He's just really good at it, right? He's good at running. He's the type of guy where I was going to hot yoga. I was so excited about doing the crow. It took me months and months, and then he comes along, and on his first try, he's like, this is kind of easy. I'm like, stop it, get out of here. But that's who he is, right? So anyway, on a dare, he says to me, I bet you can't run the Chicago Marathon. And obviously, I got completely ignited. Like, are you seriously saying that I can't do it? And he knows that was like the button to push, because then I'm like, I'm going to show you kind of attitude. So, of course, I said I would do it. And I signed up for the club, the running club that preps you over, I think it was like 20 or 22 weeks, where it's just like slow and steady. I was committed to the outcome of completing this 26.2 miles. So I was very aware, and I had heard about the different concepts around embracing the challenges that come up, like the different cramps or what could happen, or how to eat properly, how to hydrate properly, what to have, and the kind of gels you use, and the shoes and the socks, all of it, right? So in that process, I had always heard about this elusive concept where you hit the wall. And people talk about it a lot, like, oh, I hit the wall. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, I totally found out, because around mile 22, right by Chinatown in Chicago, I hit the wall at mile 22. Now, I am not going to go into the sordid details of what happened to me, but it was messy in so many ways. I was a mess. I made the mistake. I started walking. I had all kinds of situations going on. I will totally spare you the details. If you ever want to know, I will tell you in person, but I don't want to say this, so it's on the podcast forever. But basically, it was horrible. And I really, really wanted to quit in that moment. And thank God for the people of the Chicago Marathon, because they're so inspiring. They're like holding up signs and just really rooting for you. And because it is in Chicago, it's just every single inch of the entire thing has people. It's really cool. So I had, in preparation for the marathon, I took a piece of tape, I wrote my name on it, right? And so, of course, people were like, Patty, keep going, Patty, this and that. I was in the dip, y'all. I was in the dip. And it was really interesting, because out of the tons of people, this one man, who was this like lovely man, calls me over. And it was weird. He was like in this 3-piece suit, I'll never forget. And he called me over. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just really hurting. I was kind of crying at that point because I was so frustrated. I was like, this just really sucks and it's really hard. And then he's like, are you going to give up? And I'm like, I don't know. I just can't do it. He's like, how long did you train for this? And then I said, 22 weeks and whatnot. And then, of course, in Spanish, he tells me, he's like, are you going to give up? Are you going to give up? Are you going to punk out? He's like, no, you're better than that. And I don't know, I swear it was like he channeled Tony Robbins himself, because I was so inspired by the words that he said that I kept going. I pushed through the dip. So push through the dip, because you know that the dip is real. You know that you are going to have those wall-kicking moments where you want to give up. I have been there, not only personally, not only in my life, in my business, etc. what you can do is, okay, so let's take that concept and just push through the dip. The other thing to note is that you can actually take advantage of the dip. And this is what I mean by this, is that the dip is inevitable, and you know that the dip is inevitable. And what if I told you that your competition, if they don't know that you have to push through the dip and they're not committed to pushing through the dip, they are going to quit. So that's going to give you an upper hand in that respect, right? So take advantage of the dip, because not everyone has the fortitude and the stick-to-itiveness to stick through it. And you also want to be patient in that process, because patience, consistency, doing the work, the unsexy fact about success is that you have to do the do. It's about making it happen, about being consistent, about doing the things that is required to get you to where you want to go. Just part of the deal, okay? So be patient and committed. Now, conversely to that, how do you know if it's okay to quit, in the sense of like, this does not make sense for me to do this? I go into an example of, there was an opportunity that came to me once upon a time, not too long ago actually, where there was, putting together an idea for my business where we would be doing fulfillment. Okay, let's just leave it at that. And so there was a fulfillment idea, and I said, yeah, that sounds good. I didn't vet it through enough. And through my own, I guess, lack of really discernment and really following through on checking in with myself and how I felt about it, we just kept doing it, but it wasn't fulfilling. And the team and I were like, yeah, this is kind of a pain. And it didn't really work out. So I finally said, I'm like, okay, here's where I'm going to know to cut the losses. Cut the losses and cut it now, because the energy, if we continue, it'll drain us. And so you really have to think about it in the way of like, this isn't a hell yes. I'm not passionate about it. It doesn't light me up. It feels heavy. And if something feels heavy, it is just not worth doing, in my opinion, because it's almost like your intuition is telling you, So we cut our losses on that one. And the importance of cutting your losses is really understanding when it's just time to cash in your chips and say, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to walk away from the table, because this isn't where I want to sit anymore. And so the sooner you recognize that, and recognize like, if it is a hell no, if it feels heavy, if it doesn't light you up, then it's okay to cut your losses, in my opinion. That's how I've done it. And that's how I know when it's about me walking away because I'm afraid or this and that. That's different, right? This is specifically around doing something that no longer aligns with you, doesn't align with your values. It doesn't jazz you up and stuff. And so that's where it's time to cut your losses. Okay, so with that, I just wanted to share some thoughts there, because I know this is a question that comes up, and people get stuck, or they feel almost pressured to stick with something that they're not jazzed about. Or really, the flip side of it is like not recognizing that there is a dip, and then they want to just say, oh, I give up, this is way too hard. Not recognizing that the dips are inevitable. Dips are a part of the deal, and it's how you manage through the dips that is going to get you to where you want to get to on the other side of that. All right, I hope that helps. Let me know what you think. Catch me on social, on Instagram and Facebook. And again, if you are looking for more of that community feels, definitely check out Prolific Women Entrepreneurs. It's a newer Facebook group, and I welcome you over there with open arms, and I hope this finds you thriving. And always remember, your message matters. All right, we'll catch you next time. Thank you so much for checking out the Positioning to Profit podcast. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new episodes. And also, it would mean the world to me if you would take a quick moment to leave a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcast player. It really helps to get the word out about the podcast and, of course, the featured guests. And lastly, please make sure to connect with me on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, I'm on all of them, and use hashtag positioning to profit so that I can search you out and connect that way too. All right. Thanks so much. See you next time.